year, 10% of construction workers throughout the United States of America get injured on the job. According to the Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries in 2017 alone, 5,147 construction workers died on the job. When an accident leaves a construction worker incapacitated, they and their families lose the financial security they once had. A good attorney is needed to make sure that the injured parties are compensated to the highest level, because most of the time, they will never be able to work again. And there is one bite of the apple when it comes to fighting for compensation in a courtroom. With me to discuss what to do if you or a loved one is involved in a job construction accident is Spar and Bernstein's very own personal injury attorney partner, Moshe the Bulldozer Borukh. Moshe, how are you?
Good to be here.
So Moshe, we've talked about in the past how important it is to use your cell phone as part of your case to prepare yourself for your case. God forbid you're in a construction accident. You use your cell phone to call an ambulance so they can document where the accident happened. You use your cell phone to take pictures. Let me ask you a question. There are people out there who may be U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents who are getting paid cash. They're working off the books. Or people who are undocumented working off the books. How is using a cell phone going to help these people, and why is it even more important for people who are off the books or who are undocumented and are working to use their cell phone, God forbid they're injured in an accident?
So an undocumented person has the exact same rights as a legal citizen here in the United States of America. Although it's more difficult to prove as an undocumented person that you were hired by an employer, for example. And so when you have a video, when you have a phone, which is the most effective weapon you have with you when you get injured in a construction accident, you take out the phone and start videotaping everything around you. If you can, you'll show that you're in the construction site, you're working there, and if something fell, for example, a ladder or a scaffold, you have evidence of that. And so there's no dispute that you were hired by somebody to work.
The biggest defense, one of the biggest defenses, the number one defense for people who don't have a record of being at that construction site because their colleagues drove them to the hospital, or because they were undocumented and didn't have and were not on payroll, or American citizens are not on payroll, is the number one defense is, this person doesn't work for us. What are you talking about? So you need to document that you were hired and you were physically there on this job site at the moment this accident happened. That's what Moshe is saying.
Exactly. One of the first hurdles you have to overcome in a labor law construction accident case is you have to prove that you were hired by somebody or an organization to work at this specific construction site. And if you're getting paid in cash, a lot of people assume that, well, if I'm getting paid cash, then I can't prove that I was hired by somebody. That is incorrect. If you have good lawyers, we can make sure that we can prove that you were hired by somebody. And we do that by using this very simple
let me just make this clear. And Moshe, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're getting paid off the books or you're undocumented, does that make your case any less worthwhile? Should you be scared to walk into a courtroom?
Absolutely not. If you have good lawyers, you'll never have to worry about that. A lot of people lie and they say if you're an undocumented person, you should not make a claim, for example, for workers' compensation benefits. That is the falsest thing I have heard when it comes to a personal injury case in a construction accident.
And now people may say, well, I don't want to get deported. What do you say about that?
If you have our lawyers here at Spar and Bernstein, in addition to the personal injury lawyers here, we have your department, the immigration department, and we will make sure that that never happens.
I can assure you that if you get injured in an accident, you're not going to get deported.
It'll never happen.
I can assure you that. It's not going to happen. Moshe, tell us about a situation if you had somebody who was undocumented or somebody who was a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident working off the books. They didn't have a record of employment. Tell us about how you represented them, and hopefully you have a good success story to tell us about.
Absolutely. We had a case where a person just came to the United States. He was undocumented. He was terrified of making a claim for personal injuries when he was involved in a construction
Where was he from?
He was from Jamaica. And what happened was he was hesitant to come to us because he was afraid that he might get deported. He was afraid that his employer might call ICE or what have you. And so when he came to us, I think I even introduced him to you, and you took care of his immigration matter.
And he got injured on the job?
He did. He got injured on the job. The defendants, when we filed a lawsuit, said, well, because he's an undocumented person, he wasn't able to make a claim for lost wages in the future because he couldn't prove that he was being paid by his employer. But because of us, because of the great personal injury lawyers we have here at Spar and Bernstein, we convinced the judge that that's nonsense. We successfully got him any back pay that he was entitled to.
Well, that's an amazing job. And God forbid you or anybody is injured in an accident, you need really good attorneys to represent you. You only have one shot to make all of your income. If you think about it, you get injured in an accident when you're 40 years old. You have 30 years of employment. Say you're making $50,000 a year. That's $1.5 million in lost wages, plus inflation, plus your medical bills and everything else. It adds up very fast to millions and millions and millions of dollars. And God forbid you get into an accident, and even more, God forbid, you hire the wrong attorney. You only have one shot at getting the most money you can. So please save our telephone number. It's 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. God forbid you or anyone you know gets into an accident, make sure they call us right away. And as you just learned from Moshe, whether you're documented, you're undocumented, you're on the books, you're off the books, if you get hurt on the job, you have a case, but you got to document it with your phone. And then you got to call your lawyer, Moshe the Bulldozer. Moshe, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Brett.
And we'll see you soon. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.